don't shower.
XQC is the DPRK. Yes, they are literally the North Korea. The deputy who shot Casey Goodson is a fucking psychopath. Yeah, I heard about this story, but I haven't looked too far into it. But we'll get started on this here, and then we'll get to some other stuff. But there was an Ohio deputy who shot someone immediately in a police interaction, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's this one, right? He fatally shot 23-year-old Casey Goodson in Columbus earlier this month and is facing more scrutiny after audio of past comments he made about his job during a sermon in 2018 resurfaced online. Audio obtained by Washington Post of comments he made at an event held by Ohio State Association of Free Will Baptists. Oh, brother. 2 years ago. Meade, who is also a Baptist pastor, could be heard discussing the work he did as a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy, including hunting people. He said, I work for the sheriff's office. I hunt people. It's a great job. I love it. Which is true. That is the truth. So anybody who's like, oh my God, hunting? What the fuck do you mean hunting? Like, yeah. I mean, that's the appeal for some people. He's at least like a little mask off about it in a otherwise like candid conversation that was not so candid. I worked this job for the past 14 years, you know. I ain't never been hit clean in the face one time. It's a fact.
I am entertained.
It ain't because I'm good. You know why? I learned long ago you got to throw the first punch. And I learned long ago why I'm justified in that throwing the first punch. Don't look up here like, oh, police brutality. People, I hit you, wish you could hit. Everyone. Trust me, he continued. So the second part of this is like, the first part of this could mean, you know, regular police training, right? Regular police training that is on the textbooks. Like, you got to fucking hit them first. Don't wait to get hit first. Like, you know, sometimes a use of escalated use of violent force is acceptable, appropriate, necessary, blah, blah, blah. But then the second part of it, and you're like, oh no, he just like, he literally thinks, you know, this is like he's killing like drug dealers and shit. So like they deserve to die. Or he's killing black people and they deserve to die. It could be either or. He might be talking about like straight up fucking murking black people. He might be talking straight up about murking, you know, criminals, those who are in like bad conditions and bad situations. Anyway, comments made in a 2018 interview in which he refers to using force while on the job as times of righteous release have also garnered attention online. Shocked to find out that a police officer so candid, or deputy who's so candid about their POV. Okay.
Yo, Hassan, this was chat on Sunday Funday. Maybe you can watch this at some point.
Yeah. My local sheriff put a paragraph on Facebook with a quote, "It isn't all just chasing and shooting minorities to us." Yeah, come on, man. We sometimes kill them too. It ain't just about chasing and shooting minorities.
Poggers.
Sometimes we fucking kill them. That's a big part, brother. The fuck do you mean? You don't understand it. Fuck. Someone's knocking on my door. Hold on.
Thanks for 5 months, Arjan and chat. Hassle. Can't wait for some quality gaming and reacts in the new year. Has buff. BB La. Came for good-looking man, stayed for the absolute mindfuck that is your streams and politics. Lemau.
Sorry, folks. I just Marat-related work. Well, not work, but fucking Marat-related shit going on in the background. Yes, it was Lebanon Levi. Anyway, the moment came in an interview shared by the Franklin County Sheriff's Office on YouTube shortly after he was pressed about how he balanced being a religious leader and working in law enforcement.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. Very good. So you both are married, have 2 kids.
Just give me the fucking time code, man. What is this?
Apparently, you've been on the department as long, you had your children when you were on the department. Yeah. So, that's one of the pieces off duty that I think about, want to ask you about is that, being on the department, but then having kids and dealing with the things that you deal with every day in the communities. How did that, did you think about that? Well, should we have kids? Should we?
Look in the description. No, it doesn't say. Host Napoleon Bell is interviewing 2 Franklin County Sheriff's Office SWAT deputies on their lives behind the badge. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. Anyway, fuck it.
Chiquita Banana Pog Wow.
Okay. Does this fucker on the left have an ANCAP flag? No, but he's got the auxiliary officer black band. In a previous life, I interned with the Columbus PD. The rhetoric of those people in everyday life would fucking shock you. I heard shit like, I hope you get to dust this fool every day. It was disgusting and would turn me away from the profession. Yes, being a police officer is an incredibly boring job in most parts of the fucking world, in most parts of America even. So it's a lot of fucking paperwork that you're filling. It's a lot of like loitering, just like homeless people that you're harassing, that sort of stuff. So they relish the moments where they have an opportunity to go out and like actually take their gun out. So there's like a two-parter there. Like on the one hand, a lot of them are inexperienced and fearful for their lives, genuinely, especially when they are at the mere presence of a black person, right?
She wears
immediate cause for genuine fear for their lives. And then the other part about it, but then the other issue is like, well, this is a great opportunity to be able to actually fucking shoot someone. And that's like genuinely the fun part of the job for a lot of people. This is like, think about Kyle Rittenhouse, who is also straight up a part of the he was like literally on that like police scouting program or whatever the fuck it was called. Like he was like a trainee, right? He was looking, how I talk about how he was looking for a clean kill, like a legal kill that he could potentially have, like putting yourself in a situation where you could like be defending yourself or defending someone else's private property just so you can fucking shoot someone. Driving to a protest in your pickup truck so you can drive over fucking counter protesters, like which is normally considered terrorism, but if you're a white supremacist, then of course not. It's just putting yourself in a situation where you're manufacturing self-defense is at the core for a lot of like conservatives who want to see how they would react in that situation, want to kill someone, whatever, freaks.
Thank
who cares?
You for all the great content I can watch while
so for them, it's like a lot of fun too. This is the fun part of their job, the fun, exciting part of their job. No, I'm not going to react to mention people's president tier list.
A cub.
Columbus PD was ruthless during the BLM protest. They used horses to push crowds that had a lot of LRAD trucks. My shitlord uncle who worked in Oakland PD has said his job was cleaning up the streets of garbage. Yeah, they also think that they're like their job is honorable, their profession is moral and good, and that like there is a very idealist.
If cops believed women and weren't dog shit.
There's a very idealist point of view, right? Like there's good people and there's fucking bad people, and cops are the good people and they're killing the bad people, and they're dealing with the bad people no matter what. There's no examination of like why those people are bad. There's no examination of like whether what they're doing is like truly bad or they've just been conditioned into thinking that it's bad. Do they need help or do they need a fucking bullet to the dome? These are not questions that people ask. It's like a childish lizard brain way of looking at the world, right? I'm a cop, I'm good. That's a criminal, that's bad. There's no examination of anything beyond that. No material conditions to be analyzed. Nothing. It's just I'm a cop and I'm good and I'm killing bad people sometimes because otherwise they'd kill me, or even if they wouldn't kill me, it doesn't matter. I'm like ridding the streets of filth and garbage, basically. So That's where a lot of that stems from. That's why someone who's a fucking pastor does not see the confliction between being a pastor and also, you know, killing people as a cop. So, NYPD has smart cars that look like even more like clowns.
It's been a shit year, but remember Maggie's in the mud and we are not.
My dad's a retired cop and he's like 50% of the true issues leading the crime, but the other 50% is the Dems' fault. You got to do something to shit on Tim Pool, like sending him disc or Skype invites and take screenshots of him sending it to other content. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yes, Russ later. Do not worry. I will hop on Russ like pretty quickly, okay? I'm gonna be hopping on Russ like very quickly. I am a goddamn addict. Like you do not understand. Like I have not stopped thinking about Rust, but I'm gonna do a little bit of politicking here too, because there's some important news going on. It's the end of the year anyway, so it's like even if I didn't have Rust, I would not be covering too much politics regardless. So, you know, I'll be doing some war correspondence, some war journalism at Rust. But yeah. I bought it when you got off last night, and I haven't gotten off Rust. Walmart had to apologize for this tweet to Holly.
Thanks for streaming Hassle.
What the fuck is this?
Why are we doing politics?
Millions of voters concerned about the election integrity deserve to be heard. I will object on January 6th on their behalf. Go ahead, get your 2-hour debate. Hashtag sore loser. Thanks, Walmart, for insulting.
Perhaps you may even play some guitar on horseback.
Okay, I'm turning off the TTS. I can't fucking hear myself think. Thanks, Walmart, for your insulting condescension. Now that you've insulted 75 million Americans, will you at least apologize for using slave labor? Or maybe you'd like to apologize for the pathetic wages you pay your workers as you drive mom and pop stores out of business? Dude, I hate this guy so much. Because, like, he's such a fucking... Oh, God, you guys are so dumb. You guys are so dumb. Oh, based. Everyone's throwing up based. Bro, this is... It's Josh Hawley, motherfucker. Do you know who this is? He doesn't give a fuck about the people. He doesn't give a fuck. The only reason why he's not sucking up to Walmart right now is because they probably haven't contributed to his campaign. Like, he's a Republican. He's a Republican from Missouri. Y'all crazy, dude. You guys are... He's trying to run for fucking president on the Tucker Carlson platform, brother. That's what he's doing. Yikes. I think that the real problem here that many people are not noticing and many people are not recognizing is the fact that some right-wingers have seen what Donald Trump has done and what Tucker Carlson did in the past 4 years and are literally tailoring their messaging around left-wing economic populism and a lot of a shitload of nationalism, brother. And the left-wing economic populism is just aesthetics. They don't even give a fuck about it in real life. They're never going to, like, they're never going to not cut your taxes. They're always going to be like, oh, big government, that's big government, that's big government. It's just fucking performative. The problem is Democrats won't even performatively adopt left-wing economic talking points because then the base is going to say, okay, well then follow through with it when you're in a position of power. Why wouldn't you? And you know who fucking did that? You know who did do that in the past? A man by the name of Adolf motherfucking Hitler, baby. Seriously. Like, you know, socialism, but fake socialism, not real fucking socialism, but just for the ones who deserve it. The deserving folks. The folk. The, you know, for Josh Hawley, it's just the Americans. WASPs. Tucker Carlson and Josh Hawley both do the shit all the time. Don't get duped into this. Do not get duped into this bullshit, okay? For these people, the left-wing economic populism, and it's not even socialism because they're anti-socialist. Yeah. For these people, their left-wing economic populism is purely for the aesthetics. Okay? Purely for the aesthetics. And the real thing that they give a shit about is the nationalism, the fascist part of this process. So stop saying based on fucking morons like Josh Hawley. The problem is there are, like, Democrats are so bad. Like, they're so bad at messaging. They're bad overall. They're, like, just marginally better than the Republicans on a lot of issues. So then, of course, anyone that comes out and literally reads the writing on the wall and takes advantage of this weakness, this opening, to just fucking jam through left-wing economic populist messaging, is gonna fucking create a base of support for themselves. Don't be dumb. Did I say Walmart was based in this instance? No, Walmart fucking sucks ass too. Hawley doesn't give a shit. He doesn't support Walmart workers or activists. They're like how, yeah, like how Bernie did. He's just using this shit for clout. I know. But the funniest thing is, like, the biggest issue is, and I am genuinely fearful of this, that, like, obviously fucking hardline, actual, legitimate left-wing activists are not going to, like, you know, work alongside Josh Hawley. You can use Josh Hawley's moment of clarity, I guess, to, like, agitate for $2,000 in direct payments. That's one thing, but you're not going to fucking be like, Josh Hawley's my ally. He's actually woke. He's actually good. He actually legitimately cares about the people. Don't be fucking stupid. And actual left-wingers are not going to, you know, work alongside the right-wingers. But what I'm fearful of is that, like, you know, the corporate democratic establishment that is, like, in the ideological center, which has gone further and further to the right, obviously, in the American Overton window, American political Overton window. I am fearful that, like, establishment Democrats would rather fucking hug and kiss the Republicans and the establishment Republicans, and then say, oh, the real battle is between populism and sanity, and then fucking allow right-wing populists to literally take control of every fucking facet of government and do, you know, Nazi party politics. If the Democratic Party becomes anti-populist, where will the left go? I don't know. You ever just want a bada bing? What? Sure. Libs tried to use the Hawley tweet as an attack on Bernie for pushing the 2K stim. Yeah, because they're fucking brain dead. But there are allies, unfortunately. So, oh yeah, dude, I was hanging out with Jack Spadici, Jacksepticeye in Rust earlier this morning. He's such a nice guy, dude. We were just both confused as to how the game works, and we were just like running around trying to figure shit out. Is there still a chance with a 2K stimmy? Maybe. I wouldn't, as Bernie said, I wouldn't sell the whole house on it. Or what did he say? Yes, I was playing without you guys. Wait, Pogue, why didn't you respond to my DMs, Sag? Wait, Jack Spadici hasn't played Rust before? No, he said he did, like, in the beginning when it first, like, came out, but he never actually did anything, like, did anything too serious in it. He was just, like, fucking around. Hey, Speed Razor, thank you for the 20 tier 1 gift subs. XQC killed him right after. Yeah, I know. We were just hanging out. And then I'm like fucking, you know, picking away. using my pickaxe and my home built tools to, like, try to upgrade my compound a little bit, you know, start trying to do some research and shit so I know how to make, like, better gear. And all of a sudden I see Felix joining the server and immediately sniping him. Like, he joined the server and, like, literally 3.5 minutes later he sniped Jacksepticeye. Anyway, you look like you were I was having so much fucking fun, dude. Are you gonna watch the Force to Vote town hall? Absolutely not. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how I will not be watching that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would watch it if I wasn't planning on doing other shit. But yeah, no, I definitely will not be watching that at all. Don't be crazy. Amish Mafia today is on, or tomorrow. Hopefully we will watch a little bit of Amish Mafia at some point. Hasan, you're in this video. What is this? Bro, why do you guys keep fucking sending the same video over and over again? What happened? Yeah, dude, it's the old ass video. It's lame as fuck. We've watched it before. Jack rode past XTC with a horse. X called out to him, got ignored, so he sniped him. Yeah, he told me. The People's Party / forced to vote shit is getting very cringe. Myth had you build your house in the girls' village. Good. That's not bad. That's good. Bitch, I'd much rather be in the girls' village. What do you mean? I don't want to be around. Dude, motherfuckers are out here living in the swamp like they are the XQC Team Rocket is literally living like fucking animals, okay? They're like rabid. I went up to their Okay, there's a lot going on in the background. My mom's phone is just like blowing up in the background. She's not picking it up, so I had to go give it to him. Don't talk shit about Team Rocket. They have enough to deal with having XQ as their leader. Yeah, no, for real. They're fucking nuts. Dude, I keep going in between Rust and this shit. Okay. What is this? Good one is on.
Can you help Hasan not be ass at games? I messaged him. Let me know when you want to play, because it's easier for people to let me know when to play than me telling them, because I know when I can be awake. Because my sleep schedule's fucked. And I told him, I was like, let me know. And he never messaged me back, so.
Okay, first of all, I did. Yeah, dude, that's so cheese. Oh my gosh, she's a guitar next to the bed, dude. That's some real Wonderwall shit. Okay, no, I didn't message her. That's true. I didn't, because I've been like, she streams, I think, at like night, like in the opposite times when I stream. Did you see the guy who blew up his RV was reported to the police over a year ago for bomb making? It's not surprising. Yeah, we're gonna talk briefly about the vaccine rollout. Anyway, Josh Hawley, I'm wrapping this part of the segment up. Josh Hawley is whatever. He is clearly doing. He is clearly doing bullshit. Like this is classic bullshit. And honestly, sorry, I know people get mad at me for saying this, but like the reality is, it is part of the reason why they can get away with like being left-wing economic populist is literally because, you know, Democrats are trying to squash that within their own ranks and like have an aversion towards any sort of left-wing economic populism and feel as though it's a bad thing. And it's very, very frustrating that this fucking dipshit who just wants to run for president is able to performatively act like he gives a fuck about the little man. And every now and then he'll like advocate for something good, but you don't slide into her DMs, I'm gonna lose it, dude. I did slide into her DMs. I was trying to schedule like a time for us to play, but the issue is, I haven't played Call of Duty in a while, like, so I'm really worried. We'll figure it out. I'll do it. I'm like in a Rust kick right now. I'm not gonna play COD right now anyway. I live in Missouri and he doesn't even have a real address here. He's actually committing voter fraud. Yeah. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind, dude. Oh my god, Chatterino, literally the worst fucking application on the planet. Like, there is not a worse fucking app on the planet than Chatterino. It's just the worst, literally the worst. Fuck me, dude. Holy shit, dude. Holy fucking shit. It is so bad. I'm telling you, clear your folder. What is this? OBS is worse? No, it's not. OBS is fucking awesome. Performance anxiety is a real thing. Please talk to your PCP. Yeah, I have performance anxiety. What do you mean I have performance anxiety? I know performance anxiety only would exist if you're afraid that like you're going to underperform. There is no way to underperform if you are literally the worst. And I am literally the worst. Hey, did you see Republican Congressman Luke Letlow die from COVID? Had no other underlying conditions? Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. Comments from the newest allegations against you that you are stealing from... Yeah. I said, I'm thinking about Rust and how I should build a better base.
Please open the Sashino, just one little gamble.
The Sashino.
Poop Bandit is their name.
Yay! Poop suck.
Welcome.
Dude, you guys have like actual addiction problems. Like, seriously, like chill. Yes, I stole from Greek. Or I tried to steal from Greek and then I wasn't able to. Anyway, fucking poop sock bandit, dude. Your message played on Nim's stream. Oh, Nim's doing a...
And for that, I'm eternally grateful. I'm really excited that this was the year that I was able to build a community of...
What is this, Hasan? Dude, motherfuckers still say Hasan? Really?
Of like-minded individuals and see it grow and prosper to the degree that it did.
My highlight of 2020 was covering the debates with Hasan and also the election night coverage.
We had the election, which was definitely a ride there. Even get recognition from mainstream media as a consequence of that.
My most memorable moment of...
That's nice. Anyway, what's up with your voice? It's my morning voice. It's what is known as the Instagram voice in this community. It's when this dude made an essay shitting on our guy Johnny Harris from Vox on his Haitian borders vid using racist propaganda. What? Dude, why hate his fur and why the left lie about it? Dude, what the fuck? I'm not gonna watch that, dude. What are you, crazy? Dude, that sounds fucking awful, dude. That sounds like absolutely awful. Last time, but Chad, if you're a streamer and can afford to support the development of OBS soon, they might be able to salary someone other than the lead dev and founder. Yeah, they're dope. IMF, that's why. No, I just like, that sounds okay. The moment I click on a link, the moment chat goes off, I just like, I click on one fucking link and then literally everyone's like, oh, you don't want to watch that 45-minute racist ass video? Well, watch my 45-minute racist ass video instead. It must have, you probably didn't want to watch that guy. You probably didn't want to watch that fucking dude, the racist dude, because, you know, maybe you just didn't feel like that one was the right one. But here, my philosophy video that is also 45 minutes long and has like 133 views and half of it is literally in Croatian. I think you should watch that instead. That's going to be the video that you click on and watch. It's like, no, I promise you that no. While I might consume it on my own free time, that is going to be garbage for fucking Twitch streams. Croatia is on my mind because of the fucking massive earthquakes happening. Thoughts and prayers to Croatia. But like, it's not even a fucking joke. Like literally, half the time. Okay, it's also top of the hour. Every hour, 6-second ad break. We're gonna continue in a second. We did the Ohio deputy who's fucking racist. Fuck Josh Hawley. That's one video that I do want to watch. The Shaolin Master breaks down 10 kung fu movies. How real is it? Stop! Secretary of Antifa, stop sending me that shit. Are you going to shower before you play Rust? I already did. I already showered. Anyway, It's top of the hour, every hour, 6-second ad break. I'm going to run an ad right now. If you want to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free. And also, you can do it for free with your Twitch Prime. And also, after that, I'm going to talk about the Tim Pool stuff. There's a lot going on. And maybe a couple more news stories before I hop into fucking Rust politics to give you an... Anyway, here's the ad. Hold on. The Pim Tool stuff is what I'm going to talk about in a second. Okay, you're getting a 3-day, dude. I don't know why it won't let me fucking see links now. Since when? Why can't I see links now? Dude, I hate this chat. I hate Chatterino. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Timestamp, limit message, separate with lines, alternate, show deleted messages. No. Where the fuck? Receive notifications from hidden messages? No. Where is... I need to see, links, dude. I need to see links. Files that are chosen, such as emotes, are saved to the disk. You reduce. Maybe if I reset my cache. Random username, mentions with a comma, show join user, automatically close user pop-up when it loses focus. Am I not seeing it? Unshortened links, double click. No. Show messages, show links. Am I not seeing it? Show moderation messages, show join users. Link information. Oh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Finally. I don't know why. Chatterino. Chatterino every fucking day. When I first start, Chatterino is just Pepperino, dude. Pecorino Romano every morning. It is fucking broken, and I have to. I don't want to see the thumbnails now because there might be some shit in there, but anyway. So there's some vaccine distribution drama as Joseph Robinette Biden chose to speak about yesterday rather than the 2K direct payments that he could be talking about in the allotted time slot that he had for a press conference. So that was really fucking weird. Governors are being way too precious about who gets this vaccine, and we're going to end up with millions of doses of expired vaccines if states don't get serious. If states don't get serious about this getting out of the door, these numbers are dangerously bad. We have on the Pentagon, the liberal case. Yeah, the Senate is now debating on the Trump veto override and the stimulus check increase today. We're going to watch a little bit of this as well. I forgot about this.
Russians aren't cutting military funding. China isn't cutting funding. But last summer, Senator Sanders and fellow Democrats, including the Democratic leader, voted to make America unilaterally disarm and cut ours. The left took a break from trying to defund the police to try to defund our armed forces. Their amendment went down in a landslide, but now our colleague from Vermont is again putting political stunts before the needs of our men and women in uniform. Our colleague says he will slow down this vital bill unless he gets to muscle through another standalone proposal from Speaker Pelosi that would add roughly $500 billion to the national debt, which does not align with what President Trump has suggested and which has no realistic path to quickly pass the Senate. Well, as I've said, the Senate will not let our national security be shoved off course, certainly not by senators who have spent years, literally years.
It's not just deficit hawking. No. It's not deficit hawking. What he's doing right now is exactly what Democrats do as well. Talk about national security and why the defense authorization absolutely has to pass. talk about an appeal to tradition by saying it passes every year, talking about the importance of why it needs to pass immediately because of how big of a national security problem that it creates, to try to pin the opposition, Bernie Sanders, into coming across as ridiculous. Don't talk about the 2K, because the moment you talk about the 2K and like why the radical poors do not deserve the 2K is of course the very moment that he loses the battle. So tactically, what he's going to do is poison it, as he has with the poison pill provisions, adding the Section 230 repeal into that fucking bill that's completely unrelated, and also adding another like election integrity, election voting security committee that is ridiculous as well. Fuck it. Onto that bill specifically so that it does not get passed, right? And Bernie, Chuck Schumer, and the Senate Democrats and Congress has already voted on a clean bill. So what this does, basically, when you add these sorts of provisions onto it, is you have to now throw it back to Congress to vote on it again. Right now, if Senate just voted on it as is, boom, tomorrow you can get it wrapped up. You send it over to fucking Donald Trump, sign off, 2K, everybody gets it, and it's great. But that's precisely why he's like adding these hurdles, just like Bernie is trying to utilize the limited amount of time that everyone in Congress has to his advantage to bother them into submission, basically. So basically, he's going to talk about how this is crazy. Okay, well, no one is against, like, unfortunately, no one is against fucking giving more money to the military, brother. The only people that are against giving more money to the military are people who are refusing to. Myth is looking forward to play Russ with you. I'm looking forward to play Russ with him as well. The only people that are fucking literally standing in opposition of this military funding bill from being overridden, because this is a veto override that they're voting on, are the congressional Republicans in the Senate that literally refuse to talk about this.
First of all, they're hoping everyone just forgets about election integrity and big tech. They're desperate to ignore those two parts of President Trump's request, and you can draw your own conclusions.
Of course, don't talk about Trump. Trump is the real reason why this is even a conversation to begin with. Trump is the real reason why this is even a fucking a talking point. If Trump had not vetoed, knowing full well there was a veto-proof majority regardless, if Trump had not vetoed fucking the NDAA, then there would be no reason for Mitch McConnell to even discuss this at all. He'd be home right now. He'd be like home, hanging upside down from his sex basement, and suckling on the blood of nubile virgins, if you will. That's how he, I think, gets his life support.
Teleworking all year. Our duty is to get help to the people who actually need help, like we did to a historic degree just 4 days ago. But above and beyond that discussion, the Democratic leaders have broken from what President Trump proposed. They quietly changed this proposal in an attempt to let wealthy households suck up even more money. Speaker Pelosi structured her bill so that a family of 4 would have to earn more than $300,000 in order not.
LMAO, what's funny is hearing opinions from people like you that ignore what 80% of the bill is about, 5,500 pages, and people only talk about the 100 of those pages. I wonder why we're not talking about the rest of the omnibus proposal that, of course, is going to feature fucking aid because it literally funds the government. I wonder why we're not talking about 5,500 fucking pages of the bill and instead talking about the Cash Act, which is only one part of the literal fucking COVID relief. It's not even like the entirety of the COVID relief. It's just one part of the COVID relief. I wonder why we're talking about that right now. Because the rest of it is fucking voted on, jackass. It's already signed into law.
It's the game here. These are the same Democrats who proudly blocked the entire aid package for months because they tried to hold out for special tax cuts for rich people in blue states. Now they say it's a matter of survival to send another boatload of cash to people making $300,000, regardless of whether they've experienced any disruption at all this past year. Even the liberal Washington Post today is laughing at the political left for demanding more huge giveaways with no relationship.
Also, if you have a problem with fucking foreign aid, wherever that fucking moronic conservative is, if you have a problem with foreign aid, why the fuck are you excited to push for the NDAA then? That has a boatload of foreign aid, unironically similar to the foreign aid that's built into the omnibus proposal that's like funding, Pakistani gender education programs and shit like that, if that's your big problem with it. And that foreign aid is basically soft power, State Department, American imperialist aid, basically. It's conditional aid. $130 million going to Venezuela for democracy programs. Okay, bro. Sure. If you have an issue with that, why don't you have an issue with the way that the military is funded? If you have an issue with that, why don't you recognize the fact that Donald Trump, who is literally the person who was shitting on the foreign fucking aid in the omnibus proposal, his own budget, his own White House budget for the bill featured nearly the exact same amount of foreign aid to the exact same fucking countries that he criticized, because that dumb fuck doesn't even know what's in his own fucking proposal. The White House was a part of these fucking negotiations. Why did Donald Trump not talk about it before? Or when he did talk about it, why was he the one setting the budgets at $130 million to Pakistan instead of $134 million to Pakistan? Is it the $4 million that Donald Trump is upset about? Because if you can look at it, if you want to look at, pages and pages of documents, the White House budget proposals are literally available for you to go and browse through. And if you look at the White House budget proposals, the very same foreign aid that Donald Trump was fucking crying about is in the White House budget proposals. So his own wishes were being demonstrated in the omnibus proposal, in the omnibus.
We're going to stay smart, we're going to stay focused, and we're going to continue delivering on the needs for our nation. Now, Mr. President, I move to proceed to calendar number 480S3985.
The clerk will report the motion.
Motion to proceed to calendar number 480S3985, a bill to improve and reform policing practices, accountability, and transparency.
It's so comical how much money got wasted on the McGrath campaign. I'd love to see an audit of the campaign expenditures.
Clerk will read the titles of the bills for the second time.
S5085, a bill to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to increase the additional 2020 recovery rebates, to repeal Section 230 of the Communications Act of 1934, and for other purposes. H.R. 9051, an act to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986.
No, it's not dead. What is happening now is basically what's going to happen now is negotiations. Like either Bernie and the rest of the Democratic senators can call the bluff and be like, sure, we'll fucking vote on it. Fuck you. Which is one proposal. Yeah, which is one way to do it. Or they say, fuck you, you're trying to poison this bill. We want to clean 2K.
Yes, and I will do that. But first, I must respond to the recent announcement by the junior senator from Missouri that he intends to contest the certified votes of the Electoral College when
Don't
Congress
even talk about that, you dumb fuck.
next week. The process for electing American presidents is provided for in our Constitution and laws. The process has been followed fully, fairly. The results have been duly certified by the governors of the states, and they have been reviewed and confirmed by the courts many times over. The result is that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won the election by overwhelming margins in both the popular vote and electoral vote. The Biden-Harris ticket received more than 81 million votes, more than any ticket in American history. That was over 7 million more votes than Trump-Pence. The Biden-Harris ticket won the Electoral College, 306-232, the very same total that President Trump called a landslide for himself then, just 4 years ago. Since the election process, President Trump and his acolytes have lost more than 50 lawsuits, falsely claiming fraud or other irregularities in the conduct of the 2020 election.
I mean, it was not a landslide.
Including the unanimous decision by the Supreme Court to dismiss a lawsuit brought by the Attorney General of Texas and more than half the Republican members of the House. And today we heard from the junior senator from Missouri that he intends to object to election results, particularly in Pennsylvania, a state where the Trump campaign and its allies have brought no fewer than 13 lawsuits and lost every single one, many with Republican judges ruling. There have been only 3 individuals, 3, charged with voter fraud in Pennsylvania, and in each case, the person voted for Trump. The effort by the sitting President of the United States to overturn the results is patently undemocratic. The effort by others to amplify and burnish his ludicrous claims of fraud is equally revolting. This is America. We have elections. We have results. We make arguments based on the fact and reason, not conspiracy and fantasy. On January 6th, the Congress will meet to formally recognize the Electoral College result. There is a very clear process to handle and dispense with objections from members of Congress to the counting of the result, and that's just what we'll do, dispense with them. The Congress will ratify the Electoral College's decision that Joe Biden will be president and Kamala Harris will be vice president on January 6th.
Dude!
And make no mistake about it, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be sworn in as president and vice president on January 20th. Now, let me return to the matters at hand. Today, the Senate will begin the process of overriding the president's veto on the annual defense bill. The House has already overridden the veto by a comfortable margin. I expect the Senate to follow suit and enact the NDAA into law over President Trump's evolving and ridiculous objections. Congress has passed the annual defense bill for 59 years in a row. It's an important opportunity to ensure our defense and security policies reflect the evolving challenges of our world and provide our service members and their families, as well as the Defense Department civilians, the support, resource, and training they need. The particular legislation includes a pay raise.
A genuine question why America's funding Pakistan. They are literally sheltering terrorists. What do you mean, brother? What? I understand why China's giving them aid. Is it India, but why America? Wait, what? What the fuck do you mean, dude? Welcome. Like, first of all, America gives aid to every country that shelters terrorists and knows that those countries are sheltering terrorists, and they don't give a fuck. Okay, so that's one thing. I mean, America's giving from the point of view of like America. Venezuela is a bunch of socialist terrorists. Why is America giving $130 million in aid to socialist Venezuela? Because they want to fucking. It's not real aid. It's soft power that will follow some hard power usually. Okay, they give aid to everyone because the military-industrial complex is basically a protection racket, and part of that is just like, you know, giving our allies and even our enemies, or at least our allies in foreign adversaries, money so they fucking do our bidding. America doesn't give a fuck that like they're funding terror. They're the biggest terrorists on the planet.
And let the chips fall where
terror, my friend, is good for business.
Measures. The defense override.
Like, Saudi Arabia is our fucking greatest ally in the Middle East.
Will both pass. But at the very least, the Senate deserves the opportunity for an up or down vote on increasing the individual payments to the American people.
Who isn't a terrorist in 2020? Like, there is very little.
For a vote on the House bill.
Bro, Kashmir is filled with terrorists and Pakistan is funding them? What do you mean Kashmir is filled with terrorists? You mean the Indian army that fucking took over the region and like cut out their fucking electricity? What is this? Kashmir is full of terrorist shit. What the fuck do you mean, dude? Who's doing the terror there? God damn, I got some hella Modi simps in here, I think. I don't know what's happening here. Listen, guys, like, I got no love for Modi, okay? You can say I'm like anti-Indian if you want, but
to get to the American people the $2,000 checks they deserve and need is to pass the House bill and pass it now. The House is recessed for the year. Any modification or addition to the House bill cannot become law.
I'm not buying something went on behind the scenes. Call me a conspiracy theory all you want, but you literally believe in 69 genders and critical race theory.
Mistake about
People don't take any reviews.
either the Senate takes up and passes the House
I
bill,
love that this is the take. First of all, his first point of view, if you hadn't said this, like this, because this betrays this, okay? If you just started off with a people don't take your political views seriously, you sound like a junior high schooler stumbling over his words discussing politics. If you had never said, you know, something went on behind the scenes, brother, like, you know, maybe that's like, maybe you have more of an edge. But
forward to the American people.
But you immediately lose your edge when you.
Overwhelming bipartisan majority in the House supports the $2,000 checks. Senate Democrats strongly support these 2,000 checks. And our unlikely ally, President Trump, this morning tweeted 2,000 ASAP. For once, Democrats agree with something on President Trump's Twitter feed. Let's send $2,000 ASAP to working Americans who are facing the hardest and darkest days of the pandemic. After all the insanity that Senate Republicans have tolerated from President Trump, his attacks on the rule of law and independent judiciary, the conduct that led to his impeachment, is this where Senate Republicans are going to draw the line? $2,000 checks to the American people?
Okay, I can't, like, Chuck Schumer is like, he's so uncharismatic. I really wish that we had more charismatic politicians, like, straight up. I'm glad that the politicians on the Republican side are not charismatic, but also I fucking hate that, like, Democratic politicians are so fucking boring, too. Anyway, Tim Pool. Let's go to fun stuff. Tim Pool. I retweeted him yesterday. I didn't even talk about it on the show, but I like, he posted this fucking photo. People are dying right now. Families are barred entry to the hospitals. Nurses and doctors are dancing on the grave of the dead while you can only watch from a distance. Comic credit to G Prime. I'll miss you, Dad. I only wish that I could have held your hand one last time. And then doctors are like dancing on the fucking, you know, dancing on top of like fucking people that are losing their relatives, right? So the doctor TikTok dances and the nurse TikTok dances are cringe. Okay? The whole like, but who gives a fuck? They're literally saving your hog fucking dad's life. Okay? Who cares that they're fucking cringe? I won? What did I win? Wait, what did I win? Call Nim? Okay. The winner is you. I won the NIM Awards. What award did I win? Let's see if I can call him.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, sir? I don't think I can hear.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
What's
Hello.
up, dude?
Congratulations.
This is exciting. Oh, wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. What did I win?
You won the best timing of the year. It's when you say that the horse Shimmer, I think, is the most important thing.
Pog,
and then
okay.
it immediately dies. Oop.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
How did you recover from that experience, if you will?
I recovered from I recovered from my so first of all, people don't know this, but I'm a horse girl. Like I grew up riding horsies. I had a horsey myself. Yes. And I am a horse girl. And yeah, I had a horse that passed away. R.I.P. Showgirl or Saljen, which was her Turkish name. And
what was it? Saljen.
Salcan. Well, it was the Turkish name of my horsey. And I was a professional show jumper when I was growing up. So I love horses. I'm a horse girl, and I'm a big fan. And I was talking about how the characters in The Last of Us 2 are like kind of mid. You know, they're not very compelling. Like, they're not very exciting. I don't want to like defend them at all.
You don't care for them.
And I cared more about Shimmer, and I was doing my classic boomer, looting, trying to loot like literally every fucking far corner of the game type gameplay, which is incredibly compelling, and that's why everyone comes and watches me when I play video games. And talking about my thoughts on Shimmer, and then I jumped over a barricade, and Shimmer exploded, and then was executed.
Have you played Red Dead Redemption 2?
I did play Red Dead Redemption 2, yes.
Okay. How was the ending for you with you know which part I'm talking about without spoiling too much?
No, I don't know, because I played Red Dead Redemption 2 literally all the way to the ending, and I don't want to spoil anything, but you know how there's a turn towards the end, and I played it on stream, but there was a turn towards the end. After that, I got so bummed when that turn happened, because it's such a tiny proportion of the game in the beginning that I did not even want to participate in, that ends up making a massively consequential ending, you know? And I was so frustrated with it that I just like kind of stopped.
All right, chat. You know what, chat? You guys should have played this game years ago. So stop complaining about spoilers.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. When Arthur gets tuberculosis, I play it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Hasan.
you're right. It's an old game. When you find out that Arthur got tuberculosis and he is no longer, like, he's gonna literally die, I straight up was like, all right, fuck this.
Okay.
Like,
you know what? Let's change the topic. I recently finished Dark Souls 3. Basically, first tried Nameless King. How's that going for you, buddy?
you did not first try Nameless King. It's a fucking lie. It did not happen.
The first 10 tries, maybe.
Oh, that did not happen. There's no way that happened. Did you actually kill?
How many tries was it, chat? It was less than 50.
What? Okay, that is ridiculous. Okay, that is literally.
New Year's resolution next year, maybe finishing it.
I'm working on it. I am working on it. I'm working on. There's a lot of wonderful DS fans in the community, and they've made a bunch of walkthroughs for me to like kill the Nameless King. I will probably end up murdering Nameless King at some point.
Oh my goodness.
But right now I'm just addicted to Rust.
Oh right, yeah. Well, we're all counting on you for the Dark Souls stuff, and good luck in the Rust up. Is there anything else you want to, shout out before we let you go?
No, 2020 was a horrible year overall, but I'm glad that I got to share that experience with all of you guys, both in the chat and with all the other streamers on this platform. All we have in the end is one another. So that's what I got.
Very well put. Thank you, Hasan. Thank you for coming on.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me, dude.
Bye.
All right, so I won. And for those of you who don't want to see or who haven't seen the clip, does anyone have it in the chat? We can watch it right now real quick. It was a little break from everything that's going on in the Senate, but Bernard's speaking, and we'll get to Bernard in a second. Oh, this is the famous clip. This is the clip that won. In Shimmer's well-being than Dina at this point. If Dina dies, I'm like, fuck it, who cares? I am such a horse girl. Oh my god. Literally, I am turning vegan right now. With the, like, I want to make sure that Shimmer is safe above all else. Always.
Get the other! Don't lose her! Go! No!
So that was the clip that won best timing of the year, and that was a hardcore. That was definitely a R.I.P. Shimmer, man. Gone too soon. You were timed out for one man span. 12K Andy back then? Yeah, it's true. Why did you do this? Same reaction as that streamer that reacted to the bunny being killed in Last of Us. I know. That's part of the reason why I think that timing stuck too, because this is great. The timing, that is literally Saljam, by the way, or Showgirl. What the hell was that relationship timeline video? Some fucking freak. Some like absolute fucking freak. I think like I'm not entirely certain. I clicked on it once and I was like, nope, I'm not watching this. This is a broken brain. This is someone with a broken brain. I don't even want to fucking see it. But someone took all of my clips of like me ever mentioning Pokimane ever. And I think they like are saying that we're in a relationship or something. I don't know. It's psychotic. I think that's the clip I found you from, lol. That one, or Hasan, your live stop cooming clip are my favorite. You are dating her, though? You are dating her, though? No, I am not dating her, though. Pat Toomey live on the floor. Oh fuck, we missed the homie Bernard.
Earlier this year have regained their jobs. So we're not finished yet. But that's a huge step along the way. And now we're being told, after passing another extraordinary bill, this one almost $1 trillion, and including $600 per person, that's not enough. We need to do $2,000 per person, despite the fact that we know for sure, we know for a fact, that the large majority of those checks are going to go to people who had no lost income. How does that make any sense at all, Mr. President? We know for sure that the majority of these people had no lost income. They didn't lose their jobs. And yet we're going to send them not $600, not the $1,200.
Rust time is coming up soon, brother man. It's coming soon. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I got to give the politics. I got to give the politics frogs a little bit of their meat though, and potatoes, like especially because this is a big deal.
Maybe they work for a large company, the vast majority of which did not have large numbers of layoffs. So this two-child, two-income couple that makes 6 figures had no interruption, no diminishment of their income whatsoever. They're going to get $8,000 of money we don't have that is going to be either borrowed or printed. That's what it's all going to come down to. Mr. President, there are people who are still suffering from the economic fallout of this terrible COVID crisis. There's no question about it. We know there are people who are concentrated in a handful of industry for the most part, not exclusively, but people who have worked in the restaurant industry, people who worked for hotels.
The funniest part is like people that have made more money and like accidentally get the 2K clips are literally 2K clips, 2K checks are going to pay it back in their taxes, and you can literally advocate for a way to retroactively, or not retroactively, but like in a way to get the fucking money back from people who do not spend it. Like, this is a way that you can do this. It's called a fucking additional extra tax in the end of the year. That's it. That's literally it, dude. That's it. It's so dumb.
Money on top of whatever their state program is. $600 per person, regardless of whether they lost income. All of that was passed just a few days ago. And now we're told we need to come back immediately right now and make sure that we're sending $2,000 checks to people who had no lost income. So for that reason, Mr. President, I object.
It's so funny. Like, this is basically a tax cut, dude. This is basically a tax credit, okay? This is our money. This is your money, okay? The $2,000 is your money. The government has no money without you, okay? So just make no mistake. So the motherfucking party that literally constantly fucking talks about how the wealthy need to have their taxes cut Doesn't matter because their job creators are now trying to stop poor people from getting $2,000 fucking dollars. They're trying to stop poor people from getting $2,000 because they think that, you know, they don't deserve it. They're using that as an example.
Crisis.
The rich people don't deserve it.
We have a moral crisis in this country. The United States government should be responding to the needs, to the desperation of families in our country at this time. There's a crisis of faith that the American people have in its government's ability to respond to human suffering. Well, this institution has been created to respond to human suffering. That's our job. Tony Fauci has made it very clear that the worst of the pandemic is ahead of us, not behind us. We know what's coming, and yet we are not responding. We know this is not going away soon, and yet we are not responding. A program, Operation Warp Speed, was created to create a vaccine. But because for 7 months the Republicans have refused to fund the public health system of our country at the state and local level, we have Operation Snail Speed to put the vaccinations in the arms of the American people. It was anticipatable. Tony Fauci and others were warning us back in May, in June, in July. There would be a second wave, and the second wave could be bigger.
More like Operation Snail
We got
Speed.
the warning. The Republicans refused to heed that warning.
Ahmed Maki.
And here we are
It is
now
fucking
without
crazy,
the public health
dude.
infrastructure to deal with the overflow
Warp speed, more
capacity
like snail
in emergency
speed.
rooms and ICUs all across the country, while simultaneously asking those same medical institutions to put vaccinations in the arms of healthy people without the resources provided by the federal government to help those states and local communities to deal with that crisis. Sometimes Daniel Patrick Moynihan would say that when you deal with an issue, you deal with it with benign neglect. If you don't want to help or you don't want to hurt, deal with benign neglect. What's happened with the Republicans this year is that they've created a program which is designed neglect. It's an actual plan not to provide the funding, not to provide the help.
Most of your accents are chef's kiss, but the Bostonian needs work. My Bostonian is usually
that are
just
now being overwhelmed and asked on top of that to put this extra burden of putting vaccinations in people's arms, but without the extra resources.
My Bostonian is just Bill Burr, but also part of the reason why I can't do a Boston accent is because I'm so used to just saying the Q word when I do like a Bostonian accent that like I need to like.
Central issue.
I was so used to just saying that I feel like it's unacceptable and inappropriate. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Every Bostonian says that. Like, it's the first thing that you think of.
Tony Fauci is saying will be
no, it's actually not a pejorative if you use it in the appropriate context.
Yes and
Queer
no,
is what I'm talking about.
Up or down, where do they stand on this issue?
Which is but when a Bostonian person says it, it's always a pejorative.
Seem more focused on funding the Defense Department than they do
and then wicked
less
have it
in our country. And Americans are becoming more defenseless as each day goes by. The headlines are screaming that this panic that is absolutely understandable and based upon fact is sweeping our country. There is protection which the federal government should be providing.
Pack the cat to have it, yeah, dude.
They're hungry. They could be without their homes. The addiction crisis is rising. They need help in their families. So from my perspective, we have a moment in time. And Donald Trump happens to agree with us Even a broken clock is right twice a day. And we do agree with him.
True, dude.
He is right.
He's fucking right, dude.
We do need this help, which we
even
should
a broken
be
clock,
providing to
dude.
these families. And as we watch more and more of our American loved ones fall sick and die, families are facing a new and unprecedented hardship. They're having to make impossible decisions to whether to put food on the table or keep the heat on through the cold winter months. And the United States government has an obligation to help working people who, through no fault of their own, are seeing all of the things that they care about, all of the success that they have worked for, and all the financial security they have earned be washed away. And yet the Republicans want to put another Operation Snail Speed in place. The damage to these families is anticipatable. We can see what is unfolding. Dr. Fauci is telling us we're at the worst part of the pandemic and it's going to continue. So let us act in anticipation. Louis Pasteur used to say,
okay, well, I'm going to watch the Bernie. Okay, I'm going to watch the Bernie speech because I want to run through this. All right.
We have just passed the largest military budget in the history of our country.
Is that Warren Gunnels, or is that how you say it?
$740 billion.
Oh, this is from yesterday. We already saw this. I thought this was the Bernie part. Okay. Come to New Hampshire, son. I'll show you around the state. That's the first and primary. Yeah, I know. It's a big deal. Okay. So, the Bernie tweet slideshow, yeah, he had a bunch of fucking big tweets.
Serve a $2,000 check. And as Senator Schumer just indicated, we have a very unlikely ally in President Trump. Nobody here has disagreed with Trump more times than I have. And yet here is what the leader of the Republican Party says. He says $2,000 ASAP. So deserve help.
ASAP. That is as soon as penis. A huge tweet from Donald Trump. I screenshotted this. I asked my grandson, I said, grandson Sanders, screenshot this tweet for me. It is huge. Okay. Look, they're talking about the same shit over and over again. It's the same stuff that we talked about yesterday.
Say, quote.
The difference is that Bernie's asked for a unanimous consent vote on the Cash Act on NDA tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Pat Toomey, who has protested so hard he won't run for office again, objects.
With that, I will now go to Senate legalese and say, quote, I ask unanimous consent that at 11:30 a.m. on Thursday, December 31st, the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of H.R. 9051 to provide a $2,000 direct payment to the working class, that the bill be considered, read a third time, and the Senate vote on passage of the bill without intervening action or debate.
Because remember, when you add additional stuff to this bill, as Mitch McConnell's trying to do, and it's not a straight 2K, it's not a straight 2K stimmy, then all of a sudden it's going to go back to the Congress, or back to the House, sorry. And now they have to deliberate on there, and they have to vote on it there as well. So that's why it is a purposeful poison pill. Like that's the reason.
Further, that if passed, the motion to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table. Further, that immediately following the vote on H.R. 9051, the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of the veto message on H.R. 6395, that the Senate immediately vote on passage of the bill, the objections of the President to the contrary notwithstanding, with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection?
Mr. President.
The senator for Pennsylvania.
Mr. President, reserving the right to object.
They're just so bad. Like, they're just such scumbags, dude. Are they trying to delay until the runoffs are over? No. There is no... The only reason why this is even being discussed is because Bernie and Chuck Schumer and the Democratic Party very craftily made it annoying for Republicans. Like, that's it. They are currently using... They're currently using this as an opportunity. Like, this would not even be a matter of consideration if it wasn't for the second gift that Donald Trump gave everybody, which was vetoing the NDAA for, you know, idiotic reasons like, I want white supremacists to remain as names on American military bases, and I want Section 230, which is unrelated to this, to be repealed. So he vetoed the NDAA, and when he did that, well, then you have to override that veto by vote, right? And there is already enough, like there's a veto-proof majority in the Senate, and there's a veto-proof majority in Congress to override that veto, except right now there isn't, because Bernie and congressional Democrats in the Senate are saying, we're not going to fucking vote for it. Or enough people are saying, we're not going to vote for it until you vote for the 2K stimmy. Okay? So he is currently using this as an opportunity. The must-pass NDAA veto override bill, or the must-pass NDAA veto override vote, he's using that as an opportunity to draw more attention to the 2K stimmy bill, Cash Act. And that's the only reason why we're talking about it to begin with. And it's a good thing that we're talking about it. That's why I'm still talking about it instead of fucking playing Rust, even though I want to play Rust right now. Because it's an important issue to talk about. Even if you don't get the 2K immediately, this is at the center of the Georgia congressional race right now. This story is at the heart of that race. This policy is the heart of that race. That's why David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, who otherwise would never give the fucking disgusting unwashed masses $2,000. They wouldn't even give them $600 if they had it their way. That's precisely why we're even having this conversation, and they're on board with it. Anyway, will college students that are dependents, cough, myself, be receiving either 600 or 2,000? If the 600 stays, then no. If you get the 2,000, then yes. The 2,000 Cash Act also adds, no, that's not true. The 2,000 Cash Act literally adds dependents onto it. You thought that was fake? I thought that it did. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. Unfortunately, I didn't read further into it this morning, but I think I'm right. But oh, Mitch took it out. Wait, that doesn't matter that Mitch took it out. The Cash Act as it stands is what we're talking about. The first stimmy check did not. The text of the amendment doesn't say anything. It's pretty short. Have. I just saw some random Twitter thing about it, so I discounted it as fake. Don't listen to me, lol. I don't know. I might have. It's still 16 plus though. I might be wrong about it, even being 16 plus. McConnell's trying to tie the 2K vote to voter fraud investigation and repealing 230 now. Yeah, I know that. Even my MAGA family members agree on the 2K. The issue has been great at pulling the veil off how evil the GOP is. It's one of the few issues I've seen that most Americans agree with. I mean, there's a bunch of issues that most Americans agree with if you talk to them. Look how Greek did your boy just now.
Look at him. Yep. Dip.
Yes,
Dip it. Right. Do we have anything to harvest his body?
No.
Look at him.
No.
Yep. Dip.
Yes,
Dip it. Right. Do we have anything?
No, that's my boy, dude. He's dying out here. Where were you? I should. Fuck. Okay, I'll come soon. I will avenge. What was the political calculus Mitch is working out here? Why delay the vote? Who is this for? Mitch McConnell just does not want to give poor people money. That goes against the long-standing Republican ideology that the government can't do anything good for you. The government can only do bad things for you. And giving money to people that deserve it and people that desperately need it is a good thing. You can't do that because then you literally build confidence in the government. And if you build confidence in the government, you can't starve the beast. Since the Reagan era, the Republican Party's very successful ideological goals have been to starve the beast, undermine federal institutions, undermine the federal government, undermine the agencies from within, deregulate, help out big business as best as possible, deregulate sectors of the economy, and also then justify tax cuts for the wealthy, oftentimes, of course. So if you start giving people money, then people are going to expect more from their government, and they can't expect more from their government. They can never expect more from their government. The only reason why you even got the first fucking CARES Act, the $600 in unemployment insurance, for example, weekly, which was really good in comparison to the OECD nations, as I've said a million times over. The only reason why I got that is because of the billions of dollars that corporations of the wealthy got. That's the only time where Mitch McConnell would just be like, yeah, all right, take it, poors here, take the fucking crumbs. Yeah. Because they're terrorists. They're literally like, they want to destroy America more than anyone else. You can say that's based or whatever, but like literally that's the truth.
Vermont or Kentucky. And let me just make it clear for the majority leader that 10 out of the poorest 25 counties in the United States of America are located in Kentucky. So maybe my colleague, the majority leader, might want to get on the phone and start talking to working families in Kentucky and find out how they feel about
78% of the country is on board with this, by the way. Remember that. Trump is on board. 50 Republicans in the House of Representatives are on board. The entire Democratic Party is on board with like some exceptions, but fuck them, who gives a shit? They're bullshit. And Republican voters are on board. This is a majority of Republican voters and an overwhelming majority of Democratic voters. 78% of the country likes the 2K. And the people that are holding this, back is literally fucking Mitch McConnell and some Senate Republicans. And the only reason, they can... Wait, what? You are missing Durbin talking about actually voting for 2K checks and Corning adding a liability shield. Very fun, but also depressing. They are trying to add a liability shield onto it as another way to fuck over the bill itself. It's bullshit. Republicans are just asking for the liability shield now. Jesus Christ.
This is not a tsunami of lawsuits. I believe we can take reasonable measures to support and defend those corporations and companies which are making a good faith effort to comply with public health standards and protect their employees and customers. His bill, I'm afraid, goes way too far.
Mr. President.
The Senator for Vermont.
Let me concur with my friend from Illinois on the issue. And I have a question for my colleague from Texas. Very simple question. You are concerned about the issue of corporate liability. I get that. I happen not to agree with you. You're entitled to your opinion. You may or may not be concerned about Section 230 of the 1996 Federal Telecommunications Bill. That's fine, too. We may have a discussion about how we protect American democracy. It's a good discussion as well. But I have the strong feeling, Senator Cornyn, that in Texas, as in Vermont, you know what? People are really not talking about corporate liability. It's a good issue. It's an important issue. I don't think they're talking about Section 230. What I think they are talking about, as the senator from Illinois just said, how they're going to feed their kids today. That is the issue. And what I would ask my friend from Texas is, what is your problem with allowing the Senate to vote on whether or not we are going to allow Americans, working class people, to get a $2,000 check? Now, I gather that when that vote comes to the floor, and I hope it comes immediately, you'll vote no. And you'll explain to the people of Texas why you voted that way. That's called democracy. I respect that. But what is your problem with allowing the Senate to have a freestanding vote? There are a number of people on your side, Republicans, who have already come forward and say, yeah, they want to vote for this $2,000 check. Now, if you want to deal with corporate liability, that's fine. Let's deal with it at some point. Bring forth the bill. We can vote on it up or down. All that we are asking for is a simple up or down vote on the issue that tens of millions of people are talking about right now. Will they survive economically in the midst of this terrible pandemic? So I asked my colleague from Texas, what is the problem with allowing the U.S. Senate to vote on the bill passed by the House? And I yield to my colleague from Texas.
Mr. President.
The Senator for Texas.
Mr. President, I would say to our colleague from Vermont, I have no problem with providing assistance, whether it's to public health officials who are trying to struggle with this pandemic, or to provide money for the research for therapeutics or vaccine, which fortunately is now being distributed around the country. I have no objection to direct payments to individuals. I voted for the $1,200 direct payment contained in the CARES Act. I voted for the additional money that's provided for in the most recent COVID-19 legislation. But this legislation that the senator from Vermont is advocating would benefit households with annual income over $350,000. They would get this money. And I would say that one way to deal with this, because of course we negotiated back and forth on the last COVID-19 bill, nobody got everything they wanted, but if our colleagues on the other side of the aisle want an additional financial benefit to people making up
I don't know how that, I don't think that's true. Wait, am I wrong? I don't think that's true at all. And at the very, if that's the maximum, if that's the literal fucking maximum, the amount of money that they're going to get is like $1. Like he's referencing literally $0.
Every business that's
worried
that a game of gotcha is going to take
if that's the fucking highest percentage, if that is like the highest max,
even if they win the lawsuit,
because the 2K is for 75,000, and then it adjusts to your wealth. I don't even have a problem with it, but
The senator from Texas has the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So clearly, our colleagues
$2,000 checks you get up to $115,000. Oh, okay. Double this for married filing jointly. It's somewhat less filing. Okay, yeah.
Struggle dealing with the evolving public health guidance provided by the CDC.
Are you playing Rust again? Yeah, I'm gonna be playing soon.
If they're not interested in engaging in a negotiation where people who, through no fault of their own,
for 1,200 checks, that mean you got some dollars up to 99. For the 600 checks, you get up to 87,000. You get some dollars. For $2,000 checks, you get up to 115. So yeah, if you have $230,000 in annual household income, you don't get the full 2K.
You understood that my
that's the highest. That's the top.
Answer my question. He has the concern about corporate liability. It's a legitimate debate. You know what? Bring it to the floor. Let's vote it up or down. I will vote against it. You will vote for it. But I asked you a very simple question, not linking things together. Nobody in the real world understands that stuff. That's inside the Beltway stuff. What people
you get fucking $5. Like,
I want to take a moment.
It's so dishonest. You get like $5 if you make 150,000. Okay?
Because
or $1. You literally get $1.
On social media, and we asked the American people. We just the other day we said, "Tell me, what would a $2,000 check mean to you? What's going on in your lives?" And in just over 24 hours, I would say to my friend from Texas, nearly 6,000 people responded. And here is just what a few of them had to say. And we don't have, this is Twitter stuff, so I don't have their names here, and I wouldn't use it publicly anyhow, but this is what they say. One person writes, $2,000 is the difference between keeping our apartment and being evicted. Here's another. $2,000 means I can afford to feed my 3 kids.
Read them, Bernie.
Another response, quote,
read those tweets.
It would mean not having to choose between rent and groceries or not having to ration my partner's meds, end quote. Another response, quote, I am raising my grandson with medical needs. I am $4,000 behind on utilities. We need electricity to run his medical equipment, end quote. Here's another response. $2,000 would mean I wouldn't have to worry about making my mortgage payment this month and that I could get my medication, end quote. Another response, $2,000 would mean paying my rent and getting life-saving treatment because I can't afford the $50 copay through my work insurance just to see my neurologist right now, end of quote. And on and on and on. Thousands of people responding. So I want to get back to the point that I want to, again, ask my friend from Texas. You got a concern about corporate liability? Good issue. Bring it to the floor. Let's vote on corporate liability. I would yield for a question from my friend from Illinois.
Yield for a question through the chair. I've listened to the figures that have been used on the floor about families that could qualify for the $2,000. It's my understanding that an individual with an income of $75,000 or less could qualify for the $2,000 payment, and a joint return, husband and wife, $2,000 could be given to them if their income is under $150,000. Is that your understanding?
Understanding. And I think, you know, as Republicans do, they're going to, well, let it be. But I'll get back to my friend from Texas, Senator Cornyn. We're asking a simple question. You want to bring up corporate liability? Bring it up. You want to bring up Section 230? Bring it up. You want to bring up the man on the moon? Bring it up. But what the American people want now is an up or down vote. Now, you're going to vote against it if it comes to the floor. That's fine. It's your right. Explain it to the people of Texas. I will vote for it. But all that I am asking for is the right as a United States Senator to have the vote. And again, I ask you, what is your problem with members of the United States Senate, including a number of Republicans who have already indicated they would like to vote for this? What's your problem with bringing that up as a single standalone bill, not merged with corporate liability or anything else? What's your problem with that?
Mr. President.
Senator for Texas.
Mr. President, I would say to our colleague from Vermont, this money is not targeted to people who suffered financial losses. It is not targeted to people who suffered financial losses.
Dude, what a fucking piece of shit.
Members of your own staff,
Bro.
if they meet the financial requirements. Other government employees who've suffered no financial loss during this pandemic. We've all suffered in different ways during the pandemic, to be sure, but financially, this money is designed to help the people who need it the most. Why would you send money to government employees that have been receiving their full paycheck during this pandemic?
Oh, my God.
That's a good question.
That's
and
how every program works.
Explain that to the people of the state of Vermont.
The Senator for Texas has the floor.
He asked me a question as I understood it.
The Senator for Texas.
John, did you ask me a question? Did I?
The Senator for Texas.
It was more of a rhetorical question, Mr. President.
The Senator for Texas.
Oh, my God,
President,
he
I wanted
did.
to come to the floor and talk about what strikes me as...
Oh, he's not allowed to fucking yield because he doesn't say I yield for a question for a senator from Vermont?
Only the day I
dude,
was born.
I hate this.
I feel like
greatest deliberative body on the planet, dude. These old fucks, yo, this shit is so bad.
Again, forgetting what it is we've already done. The good things we've done together on a bipartisan basis. We've already appropriated roughly
fuck, it's top of the hour every hour. It's 6-second ad break.
To this pandemic. And it's appropriate that we have done so because this was a true public health crisis.
I'm hitting you with a fucking ad break right now.
We're seeing politics creep back in an attempt to send money to people.
If you'd like to watch the stream with no ads whatsoever, you go to ad blockers if you want to use that. Or you can subscribe. You can subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Here's the ad.
Who are on the front lines. And I voted for it, and I think we were right to do so. We've thrown small businesses and their employees a lifeline through the Paycheck Protection Program, and we were right to do so. We've invested in research and development, manufacturing of therapeutics and vaccines that are currently being administered, thank goodness, throughout the country and indeed around the world. And we sent unprecedented assistance to workers, families, and individuals whose livelihoods have been upended by this crisis. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, Congress has stepped up and met this unprecedented challenge to deliver.
Republicans literally sound like Democrats who don't want to give you health care right now, and that's never a good fucking way to message.
A year ago, I would have voted this year alone
not good
for roughly $4 trillion worth of spending in this pandemic. I would not have believed you. But I do believe this is the domestic equivalent to World War II, where we have to do everything humanly possible to try to help our fellow man, woman, and
this motherfucker Republicans will do everything humanly possible to stop poor people from getting a fucking crumb, dude. A breadcrumb.
When
That's
President
it.
Trump signed
That's
a $900
literally it.
billion rescue package.
The real reason
law.
is they
Well,
will
I'm glad
die.
Congress was able to
This
send
old
more relief
fuck
out the door at
would
the end of the year.
literally die before he lets one poor person see $2,000.
It's
like, I'd rather die.
amazing the sense of urgency our Democratic colleagues have today, since at least 3 times, maybe 4 times, they blocked our attempts to pass $500 billion relief bills during the course of the summer. In July, our colleagues introduced the HEALS Act, which would have provided just under $1 trillion in relief, covering the same types of policies included in the most recent relief bill: direct payments, unemployment benefits, funding for schools, vaccine, and a host of other priorities. Our Democratic colleagues not only complained about the bill, they called it weak, little, pathetic, and unserious. But they refused to engage in the sort of negotiations that are customary around here when you actually want to solve a problem, or consider anything short of the House's multi-trillion-dollar bill, which they knew had no chance of passing in the Senate because of things like tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, which had nothing to do with COVID. So our Democratic colleagues dragged their feet. July, August, September, October.
I think the funniest part about like Republicans talking, maybe it's because like it is a gerontocracy, so like everyone is, you know, a gorillion years old. But the funniest part about it is like he acts like everyone has Alzheimer's and therefore will not remember when he was literally for the tax cuts or literally against all of the things that he's now taking credit for. Like, does he just assume that all of his colleagues have Alzheimer's and everyone in America just literally does not have the memory bank to remember when he was fucking against all the shit that he's taking credit for and he was for all the shit that he's criticizing, like tax cuts?
Expressed an interest in doing more. And I have no doubt that we will do more in this area. But Speaker Pelosi's bill goes far beyond what the president is talking about. For one, it would dramatically widen the pool of recipients, enabling wealthy households to qualify for relief checks. This is unacceptable and wasteful. When Congress provided the first round of direct payments through the CARES Act, we did so in a way that sent relief to the hardest hit Americans. Individuals who made up to $75,000 received the full $1,200. And the amount gradually declined as income increased and completely phased out at $99,000. We kept the same formula for the $600 payments provided for under the omnibus and further targeted the relief. Once again, those who made up to $75,000 will receive the full amount, and the amount phases out completely at $87,000. Under the CARES Act, a family of 4 earning up to $150,000 received $3,400. In the most recent rescue bill, the same family would receive an additional $2,400. This was the most effective and targeted way to ensure that assistance goes to those who actually need it.
Bitch, this is the same.
Sending taxpayer dollars, borrowed, I might add, to those who don't.
This is literally the same. It's just extended a little bit on top of it. It's like lightly extended.
Didn't have a similar structure to keep these payments targeted. Let me give you an example. If this bill were to become law, a person making $100,000 a year would receive a $750 check from the federal government, whether or not they lost income during the pandemic. This isn't someone who used to make.
Apparently, there's a blue slip issue. Bills that affect the IRS revenue can't originate in the Senate for McConnell's version of the bill. So even if the Democrats accepted that version, it couldn't legally pass the House. Also, 230 is a part of the USMCA trade agreement, so it couldn't even be straight repealed. So, of course, McConnell has just proposed a bill which can't even legally pass. Yeah. Well, I'm not entirely familiar with like the repeal of Section 230, but it doesn't matter. None of this matters. That's why they're trying to go with a clean Cash Act, and that's why Bernie doesn't even argue against like, oh, these people will get more money. These people don't deserve it. Like, he's not even talking about that shit because it doesn't matter. This is an argument that needs to be centered around: are we going with a clean 2K or not? Because if there's no clean 2K, it's not going to pass. And that's precisely why McConnell added all of those other provisions onto it. Why do the Republicans act like this money's coming out of their bank accounts? To top this off, this piece of shit managed to ruin brisket, his family recipe for it. Oh yeah, dude, I saw. This is perhaps the worst thing that John Cornyn has done this year. Like, he could have literally personally killed like he could personally have killed like an orphan child, and it would be like the equivalent of this brisket, a family tradition brisket. Yo, automatically, dude, you're done. Like, you do this, you're out. Okay, you are no longer considered a real American. Your American card is revoked. You can no longer be a senator. What the fuck did he put on it? Like salsa? It looks like fucking tomato paste or some shit. It literally looks as dry as Ben Shapiro's wife's pussy, dude. How do you fuck a brisket up so grossly? And he's like, well, it's dry, so I gotta put fucking ketchup on it. God damn, dude. Sahara Desert pussy Andy over here. This is disgusting. This is like if you're from fucking Texas, okay? If you're from Texas and you see a man make a brisket like this, how the fuck does Hank Hill, the mythical Texan, the only Texan I know, the only Texan I care about, how does any man from Arlen ever vote for a motherfucker that makes a brisket like that? I bet it's not on propane either. I bet he didn't even use propane to make that. That's bullshit, dude. This looks like an Italian man made this brisket, okay? An Italian man from New York came down to Texas and was like, oh, how you guys doing over here? Is this how you do a fucking brisket? Hey, how you doing? And then fucking sauced it up. I'm gonna put sauce on it, salsa. Look at this. What is this? Okay, that one I don't have as much of a disagreement with. That could be kind of delicious, depending on. But I mean, this is a war crime. Like that one, you know, I don't know if it's like terrible or not, but this is a war crime. This is mid war crime, mid literally fucking like, you know, phosphorus on civilians. I mean, actually, yeah, you're right. I don't even think that any Fredo would do such a fucking horrendous thing to meat, because Italians do love their fucking meats over here. What are you doing?
Businesses. And that's why we added more funding in April, another $320 billion. And we extended the program in July and reinvested in the Paycheck Protection Program again in the omnibus. As I said, there were other places where the money went unspent, but fortunately in the most recent bill, we were able to repurpose hundreds of billions of dollars in unspent funds, again, to target it to where the need was greatest, where it could help the most. There's no question that tens of millions of workers and their families have been hurt by this virus. We all know that. And I think we've all acted together, by and large, responsibly in trying to respond to that. No one will be left out if we have a means and method of targeting this to those people. whether it's direct payments, enhanced unemployment benefits, incentives to their employer to maintain them on payroll. And now that we have the beginning of the distribution of the vaccine, my hope is that in the coming months, we will get back to, if not the new normal, whatever the next normal will be. But we're just a few days from kicking off a new Congress, and I have no reason to believe that our coronavirus relief work is finished here today. As a matter of fact, Vice President Biden said,
dude, the funniest part about it is that people from Texas love being from Texas, right? Like, people from Texas love talking about how much pride they have from for being from Texas. And then they fucking turn around and they vote for melted candle wax debate club Andy Ted fucking Cruz just because he wears snakeskin boots. And then they fucking vote for the guy who literally did a war crime on a brisket, dude. Like, you don't give a single fuck about anything that is Texas related if you vote for those two dipshits, okay? Beto O'Rourke is more of a Texan than these motherfuckers. Yikes, dude. Like, they are literally just the worst. Like, you don't even care about the aesthetics. It's the one thing that you're supposed to care about is the aesthetics of being from Texas, brother. I love Texas. Meanwhile, oh my God, I'm still thinking about that brisket, dude. It is so bad. It's so disrespectful. I'm not even from Texas and I'm angry. Fuck!
March, when Congress did the right thing, the Senate voted unanimously. Because of our efforts, 13 million people were kept out of poverty. We know that because we did relatively generous unemployment insurance. We did the direct payments. We helped with small business loans. But then this Senate thought its work was done for the year. We begged Senator McConnell month after month after month to come back and help. As I said, 13 million people were kept out of poverty because of the work this Congress did in March of this year. But now, since many of these benefits, especially the unemployment benefit and the direct payments were not continued, of course, those benefits expired in August, and we have seen 8 million people drop into poverty in this country since. And yet this Congress, Senator McConnell refused and refused and refused. I hear this revisionist history that Democrats just want to help people that are already affluent, give them more money. Well, remember back in March, the only amendment that we considered, the only amendment that Senator McConnell allowed on the floor of the Senate to the CARES Act, the only amendment was to take away the $600 a week.
Chad, this man right here is one that I have fucked up the name of a lot, famously.
Do was $300 a week unemployment insurance, the best we could do. And Senator McConnell, in spite of Senator Cornyn and others' comments, Senator McConnell waited. Finally, we were able to do it. The President of the United States threatened to veto it, causing
he is
millions
like,
of Americans.
He's pretty good. He's a big like labor. He's a big labor union
it's just important
senator.
To remember all that. But there's one simple
He's not the
question
greatest, but
before the Senate this week: are we going to put more money in people's pockets? The American people made it clear on Election Day they want a government that's on.
I don't want to say his name. His name is Sherrod. But for the longest time, I thought his name was Sherrod Brown, and I would joke about how he has he is one of the senators, like Lamar Alexander, one of the politicians in one of the Congress members that you would not expect to be white, because I thought his name was Sherrod, and I was told that that's not true, and his name is Sherrod.
More power to them during this pandemic, but those are the corporations that continue to get the big tax breaks. We need to instead directly invest in people who make this country work. It helps people pay the bills and stay in their homes and get through this downturn. It injects money into local economies that really need it.
Yeah, he's a big labor advocate. He's always been a big labor advocate.
That are hurting. We know this works. It did in the spring. We came together. We passed Across the aisle, passed the CARES Act, expanded unemployment, did direct stimulus checks, keeping 13 million people out of poverty. The bill we passed last week.
I knew he wasn't. I knew he wasn't black, but
we should make it strong.
I just he definitely has
March,
a non-white name. He's like one of the. He's like Lamar Alexander.
And a handful of other senators.
There's a couple of them.
A week, $2,000 per person, adults and children. We called for them to be sent automatically throughout the year, every quarter, as long as we remain in a public health emergency. It's clear now what we could have done and should have done. No one could predict how long this crisis would last. Today, we still aren't sure when everyone will be vaccinated, when the economy will return to full strength. We don't want to sit idly by. We don't want to wonder how bad it could get. We're the strongest, richest country on earth. We have the resources to do something about it. We just need leadership willing to use every tool we have. If they refuse to support this $2,000 per person, if they refuse to support these direct payments, Leader McConnell and Senate Republicans will again make it perfectly clear for the American people whose side they're on. Every time there's a fork in the road, and Senator McConnell and Senate Republicans have to make a decision. Either go with corporate interests or go with working families. Every single time they choose corporate interests. They had no problem pouring money into corporate.
People are going to get people are going to fucking attack.
And I remember, Mr. President, just down the hall here.
Get him, Sherrod.
Senator McConnell's office. I remember lobbyists lining up looking for those tax cuts back 3 years ago, and they got those tax cuts. They didn't say anything about government deficits back then, $1.5 trillion added to the deficit. They didn't mind that because that was money going into their contributors' pockets, into big corporate coffers, into the wealth for the wealthiest people in this country.
Guys, I'm literally only in the Gamer of the Year category for Kotaku because I'm one of the few people that has played a video game who has not said the N-word. Okay,
it's just simply a lie.
That was they looked for someone else who's played more video games, but they could not find any other.
University told the Banking and Housing Committee in September, we didn't win World War II by worrying whether or not we could afford it. We're in a global crisis. We marshaled all our vast resources and talents to rise to meet it. We grew the economy from middle class out. We paid down the debt with raising wages. If we've learned anything from this crisis, it should be that we can do the same again. Americans are tired of being told we can't. It's the only answer that Senator McConnell and Senate Republicans ever have with most people's problems. We can't help you. We can't solve your problem. You're on your own. Let's aim higher. Let's deliver for the people we serve. Let's put $2,000 into their pockets, money that will make such a difference for so many families. It will help a mother worried about how she'll pay back rent. It'll keep a laid-off restaurant worker from turning to a payday lender. It will allow a father to buy a new computer so his kids are better able to learn online. There are millions. These are millions of.
Okay, we're hearing the same shit over and over again. Anyway, I'm gonna hit the last high note here. The Tim Pool is a dim fool take. So he posted this like weirdo fucking dude's comic, and the dude is actually pretty talented, like with his artwork. I do like his artwork a lot. It just sucks that he has a bad brain otherwise. But he posts this fucking art, or he posts this thing, and then he said, people are dying right now. Families are barred entry to the hospitals. Nurses and doctors are dancing on the grave of the dead while you can only watch from a distance. Comic credit. And I said, this is perhaps the most. I mean, this was one of those things where. This was actually one of those things where I was just like, you know, Tim Pool frustrates me. Obviously, like he is very frustrating. He is. Hasan's pretty good at Demon Souls. What is this? This is the clip that they had on.
Hassan, you're pretty good at Demon Souls. You just need to work on dodging.
Okay, dude. Fuck off, dude. Fuck off, dude. Let me just get through this, please. God damn it. Okay, stop. Just stop with everything else. Okay, chill. Chile. Okay, Chile. Was it the Shaolin Monk one? Okay, close tabs to the right. All right, so. Yeah, hey, woo Chile, okay? Woo Chile. We'll look at that in a second. Dude, there's a lot going on. All right, so my dude posts this, and I go, and like he says a bunch of stuff that is very frustrating to me as a person who isn't like completely smoothened out his brain wrinkles, right? But this one really fucking hit me in my anger bone. I don't know why this like really was just it was so deranged, like especially when paired up with the fact that like Tim Pool is another one of these like homies who's been definitely contributing significantly to like undermining the severity of COVID as a crisis and like basically brainwashing their audience into believing that COVID's not real or whatever the fuck. And like he has covered COVID, so he'll always use that to be like, well, I covered COVID before anybody else or whatever. But like, you know, to do the centrism meme. But it is truly frustrating, and perhaps the most deranged point of view I've ever seen from those who regularly contributed to COVID becoming a much larger problem. It's not the fucking frontline workers that got people not to take COVID seriously. If I made a killing simply sitting in front of a webcam talking shit, in parentheses I do, so that all the haters don't fucking shit on me, I'd keep my mouth shut about the people who change the diapers on your COVID denier dad and risk their own lives while doing so. Now, do I personally think that this is like doctors and nurses fucking doing COVID TikTok dances and shit is cringe? Yeah, they're fucking nerds. They're doctors and nurses. Do I think that the people who are literally out there fucking saving people's lives can have a little bit of cringe? Absolutely. Okay. You know what? You can have as much cringe as you want as a treat. It is psychotic to me that these people who are literally like, they are in warlike conditions, basically, especially in the beginning of the pandemic when like hospital administrations just left them behind, when they were just simply putting their lives on the line exclusively so that people survive. Those people are going to fucking do a TikTok dance every now and then? And fuck you. Yeah, what have you done? You haven't done shit, okay? These people are dying from getting COVID from the fucking COVID deniers spreading it like wildfire. So Tim said, using COVID as an excuse to avoid coming on my show when Vosh and Hunter did come on is a good mask for fear. Like, he thought that this was a good own. Like, it's completely unrelated to the main point of view that I'm expressing here, which is, you know, you are a COVID skeptic, okay, and have definitely undermined the efforts that people who are trying to do epidemiologists who are trying to get people to take the public health initiative seriously so that they don't spread COVID. Okay? So that was his counter, unrelated to what I had said, but so I responded with, responded with, yes, I'm actually afraid of getting COVID. My mom lives with me. I haven't partied, traveled, or seen most of my friends in months. Why would I risk making my mom sick just to fly over and debate you when we can safely do it over the internet? Ridiculous. Because he said, I get it. Vosh has guts and Hasan doesn't. He's allowed to be scared. And I assumed that he was doing it because he thought that, like, Vosh's audience would, like, side with him or something, like, or pin me against Vosh or something. Bitch, first of all, we share an audience. Secondly, absolutely none of them are going to be like, yeah, Vosh is brave and Hasan is a fucking idiot. He is, like, not courageous to, like, what? Side with fucking Tim Pool? Are you insane? 55 likes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, why the fuck? Why would Vosh's fans turn around and just be like, you say, you know, Skype exists, right? I get it. 1v3 in your studio is better for you. And there you admit it. You think Hasan can't cut it and COVID isn't the real reason why he backed out. First of all, I didn't say that. You can 1v3 me on fucking Skype if you want. He just wants to be the only one with the computer in front of him, so he's a monopoly on live fact-checking along with his 3v1. First of all, Vosh and Pepe Le D or Destiny, whatever, are definitely a lot better than me rhetorically in a debate stage, okay? But if there's one area where I thrive, where they do not, it's knowing unrelated or sometimes related fucking points of news that I have covered relentlessly for the past fucking 10 years. So if there was an instance where I have to live fact check something, then I would probably do a better job than they could, even if I wasn't live. But in every other part of like a debate or whatever, they are much better than I am. Like, but if there's one area where I have a bit of an advantage, it's literally just like remembering instances where remembering instances on the fly from like random fucking events and things that have happened in the news. Because unfortunately, I my brain is full of pus, basically. But even then, I don't really care. I don't really care about it, regardless. Like I said, outside of COVID, I would definitely do it. If you did it online, he would be able to mute you. If you watched the Vosh Tim debate, Tim was constantly bringing up obscure news points of reference, trying to make Vosh look uneducated when it was just random anecdotal incidents. Yeah, that's something that he does. I think that's his like style. Tim does that too. That's how he pivots whenever he gets clapped on a point. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think I could at least like match it. How do his viewers not see the grift? Because confirmation bias, brother. It's a powerful tool. Debates are about aesthetics, not substance. Absolutely. And I didn't even watch the Vosh or Destiny debates. I don't really. I don't know. It's just not as entertaining as it once was, and that sort of stuff. More quote tweets than likes. Yeah. Anyway, but I am still absolutely on board with like talking to him if he wants to do that. Okay, so Hasan, love you, man. Thanks so much for your content. You're welcome, brother. You debated before. Why does he think he's special and creates fear? I don't know. I don't know why. And I'm like absolutely interested in having a combo with him. Like I'm totally on board with it. It's just I'm not gonna risk my my family. Like I'm not gonna risk my mom getting COVID because like, hey mom, sorry, I have COVID now, and so do you, because I literally went and debated someone on the other side of the fucking country who won't take his beanie off indoors. Like, sorry, is this what happened? It's literally the worst possible outcome out of anything. Like, did you guys debate on beanie wearing? No, I wear my beanie indoors too sometimes, and I thought that's a point of reference that we could share. You know, an experience that we both have with beanies, but it didn't happen that way. Sorry, and now you have COVID. Okay. So,